Hello, today we're going to be showing how you can import data into Monday.com from any API. So this is great if you have data in different applications and there isn't already an integration in the Monday marketplace, or perhaps you're using a very bespoke tool and you want to be able to connect via an API and import data in, but without having to write any code or do any development. So we're going to be using the Clockify API for this example. Clockify is a time tracking software. So the first step we're going to do is go to a board. It can be any board in your workspace. And then we're going to go to apps and explore more apps. Then we're going to search for the data importer app on the Monday.com marketplace. I've already got it installed, but I'm going to open it here. Otherwise you'll see it in the app marketplace. It's completely free to use for one board. And then we're going to set the application to be the custom API. Now you can see there's a few settings here that we need to fill in. So we'll head over to Clockify in order to get the API URL and things like our authorization parameters as well. So if I head over to Clockify, the first thing we want to do is we want to make a note of our workspace ID. So I'm going to go to my workspace settings and I'm just going to copy this workspace ID and paste it somewhere else. Next, we'll also need to get our API key as well. So to do that, I'm going to head over to Preferences, Advanced, and then generate a new API key. I'm going to copy it here, so make sure to make a note of that. Cool. Next, we're going to actually choose what API endpoint we want to import from. So the first one we're going to do is to get all the users in our workspace. So I can just go over and copy and paste the URL, come back to the data importer app, and then paste that into the URL. You can see here we need to fill in the workspace ID. So I'm going to go and grab that from where I copied it before and just paste that in. Now, according to the Clockify API docs, we need to also pass in our API key, and the way we do that is we set a header parameter name. So I'm going to copy this header parameter name, add it to my headers, copy the API key that I say before, and paste that there. And then all I need to do is enter a board name. So I'm just going to call it Clockify users and press run. Cool, now that run is complete, I can head over to the new board that's been created. And here I can see it's imported the user that's in my Clockify workspace. And it's got all the fields that have been automatically mapped into my Monday.com board. Cool, so next we actually want to do a new endpoint, which is to get the time entries for a user. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to Monday. I'm going to actually make a note of this user ID, because this is the user we'll be importing time entries for. And then I'm going to head back to Data Importer. Cool, so now I need to change the URL to the time entries. And just like before, I need to make a note of the workspace ID and fill that in here. And this time I also need to make a note of the user ID and put that in there. The API key is same as before, so I'm just going to change the board name to Clockify time entries. And then press run. All right, now that's completed. Let's go and check them out. And you can see again, all my time entries from Clockify have been imported just from using the API fetch. So that is how you can use Data Importer's custom API connector to import data from any API. It doesn't have to just be Clockify. You can do any application that has a URI you can use to import. And if you prefer to have a written version of this blog, you can also check out on our blog. Thanks very much for watching this tutorial. I hope you've learned something new about Data Importer and Monday.com.